Now earlier today, I was flipping through this 1941 catalog from Gateway Sporting Goods of Kansas City, Missouri. Now Gateway was an interesting company. They had a storefront on Main Street in downtown Kansas City, but they also did a pretty robust business in mail order. From the 1930s up through the 60s, when in 1966 they reported sales of over $30 million. And according to a June 1966 article in the New York Times, Woolworths bought them out for $14.7 million in 1966. Now, I don't know how they did that kind of business, selling flies for 10 cents a piece and bamboo rods for $8. But they did sell some pretty interesting flies. And the one that caught my attention today was called the Lord Baltimore. Now, I'd heard of this fly before. I'd even seen it, but shame on me, I'm from Maryland and have never even tied it. But I did a little research and I found it in Ray Bergman's 1938 Trout and also in Mary Orvis Marbury's Favorite Flies and Their Histories. And Marbury said it was created for fishing the lakes in Maine by a guy named Professor Mayer. She didn't say his first name, so that's all we know him by, Professor Mayer. Now, I have no idea why they named this fly after Lord Baltimore. This guy doesn't look like a fly fisherman to me, but it is a pretty cool looking pattern. And like many patterns of the day, it was a winged wet fly. But this one, it's orange and black, so it has a little bit of a Halloween theme to it. And seeing as how it's October, I thought it'd be a pretty cool one to tie. And oh yeah, a note to new tires out there. Winged wet flies are hard. If you don't get this right, don't worry about it. The one you're about to see me tie is far from perfect, but you know what? I think it'll probably catch some fish. So there's one in the vise, a classic old school winged wet fly called the Lord Baltimore. Now this one's a little bit shaggy, and that's 3 wraps of hackle. Maybe it'll look better with 2. Let's try that and see on this one. I'm tying this on a size 10. It's a 1 extra long, 1 extra strong barbless wet fly hook. And I'm going to lay down a base of black 70 denier thread back here to the start of the bend. And the first thing I'm going to catch in is just a little black slip of duck and maybe a hook gap in length. Let's try that right here. This is just a single slip, loose wrap over it, and then kind of pull it tight coming up. And if you get it right, you'll keep it in the plane of the hook there. And that is going to be fine right there. So let's go ahead and just bury this in right here. Whoops, without it spinning around on me. Yeah, we're fine. Go ahead, bury this right here. And we do have a black rib. If you got a thin black floss, that'd be great. I didn't, or mine was kind of thick, so I'm going to take some 140 denier thread and just fold it over, and I'll make this my rib right here. Remember, my tying thread is a 70 denier, so this right here is a 140. It's a little bit thicker. So let's go ahead and catch this in right back here to where we're going to start wrapping it, just right in front of the tail. Now take my thread up here, and I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. Just put a little half hitch right here and cut it off, because I'm going to wrap my body with floss in a bobbin holder. Now I didn't do this last time, but I think it might just make it a little bit easier. So I've got some orange floss here, and I'm just going to catch it in, and let's go ahead and snip this excess off right here before we get too far back. And now it should be a little bit quicker to make, maybe 3 passes, which will put 3 layers of this on here. I think 2 passes is going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and whip finish it. But that's something to keep in mind. This floss started cording up on me. See, it's kind of corded up right there. That's what happens when you wrap it in a bobbin holder as opposed to your fingers, where you can kind of just keep it flat still. Now before we wrap this rib, we do need to put some more black thread on here. I'm going back to my 70 denier right here. This is what we're going to finish the fly with. Now we can just go ahead and counter wrap this 140 denier thread. I'm going to spin these together a little bit, kind of a small rope here, and just counter wrap them on up. And however close together you want, whatever you think is going to look right. Now the next thing we're going to do is just black hand hackle. And remember that one in the vise at the beginning? I did 3 wraps and I think it was a little too bushy. Let's try this one with 2 and see what that does for us. Okay, let's snip this excess off right here. And this, you know what, maybe 3 was the right choice. We'll pull this back and sweep it back and see if this is going to be too sparse. Okay, I think 2 wraps is fine. We could have certainly gotten away with 3. Next thing we're going to catch in 2 slips of black duck. Same thing we use for the tail. A matching slip from a left and right feather, about a body length. And I'm going to, try to keep the tips aligned. Those aren't aligned perfectly, but they're close enough. So I'm going to measure my length and I'll just pinch them and the hook at the same time. Pull a little bit of extra thread out, do a loose pinch wrap right there, and then come back up on this side and then pull it tight, kind of like that. Now let's take the next wrap down. And if we did it right and got lucky, they will be in the plane of the hook. These are just a slight bit canted, but it's nothing we can't live with. So I'm going to go ahead and bind these down, then snip off the front. Okay, I got a little bit of fuzzies right there. I'm going to go ahead and spend a few wraps right here just to clean this up a little bit. I could singe them off, but that'd take an extra minute or so. And now you can go ahead and whip finish it, put head cement on it and call it done. But if you've got some jungle cock eyes, go ahead and put them on and it'll make it look a little bit neater. Okay, these jungle cock eyes of mine are a little bit curled up, so they're not the best in the world, but we're gonna be just fine. Let's go ahead and snip the excess and clean up the head. All right, critiquing this fly, those wings up there are just a little bit skewed and I didn't pick the best nails for the jungle cock eye, but yeah, if you're gonna fish this, it's a fishable fly. But hey, let's do something fun. Anybody who's watched this far, leave a comment, mention the word Baltimore. I'll go to the random comment picker in a couple days and find somebody who used that in their comment and I'll send you a hat. Just my way to say thanks. I appreciate you watching this far into the video because, I'm not real happy with this fly, but oh well, we can live with it. Thanks again, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time.